please don't count for creatures to stay around. Then we got the random 2/4. Again, one of my favorite commons. Another one of my favorite commons. Aggressive black decks. Sorcery, 3 damage for 3. You know, might get there with the Scry for center. But for draft, it's one of the best cards in the format. Just because removal is really important with a format that has so much Build-A-Bear-esque. And you want to just add on the creatures. And then we got this, tap down some stuff. Get in there aggressively. Or defensively. Yeah. Okay. And aggressive Minotaur. And then this is going to be a really powerful card. Like, who knew that Rampant Growth, Giant Growth, giving +5/+5 could be so powerful. But yeah, it gets there. It gets there real fast. Then indestructible +1/+1. You know, do some combat tricks there, and not have to be worried about the retaliation of the trick. And then again, beautiful art here. And then this guy's kind of interesting. The 3/3 wall that can be aggressive if you can invest in it. But I don't know. I like it a lot. Ooh, we got an exciting card coming up. This card for Devotion, like it fits the like theme of the deck really easy, but I don't think black has enough room for it, and I don't even see it in like a sealed deck. But draft it you could maybe have this curvy out deck that really loves this card and gets that huge amount of pluses off of it. Then this is one of the best removal spells of the format. Again, you just want to find a guy that they're building on and putting a lot of investment into. You want to block it, and then you want to just slap something that kills it, and this is one of the best cards to do so, and you plus off of it. Now the card I was excited about was the Planeswalker for the format, Kiora, which I did a review on earlier, I think like 2 episodes ago, but this is one of my favorite cards in the format, and I really hope that this finds a home in like green-blue, a Devotion, and maybe even some control decks can abuse it. I don't know, but this is one of my favorite cards in the format right now. And, you know, I'm going to be real sad to see Jace go, but he doesn't solve every problem. Damage. Now, you want to talk about a Build-A-Bear. This guy, you get a Heroic Trigger or 2 off of him, and he's huge. Like, for 3/3 by himself is fantastic in this format. And anything above that is pretty good also. And then we're just going to breeze by. This is one of the best removal spells. Like, who knew fighting without the retaliation would be so good, but red does it extremely well, and it's one of the better removal spells to the format if you can't get counter removed. Then just basically use it when they're tapped out, and you're going to get something off of it. Now this is one of my favorite cards in the format too, as far as draft and limit goes. Again, the Build-A-Bear enchantment strategy. You know, it's not necessarily the heroic with this guy as much as it is just piling damage on with him, because Double Strike is a really powerful effect in this format. And I think he'll find a home, definitely limited. But I think he's a bit slow for standard. And then get Devotion to black. Again, kill something important. And then we got our Scryland here. These Scrylands are really important. And I'm really excited about the white-blue one, as it's going to find a home in a lot of them, the decks in the format. And I think this black Rakdos one is going to also do some damage as well. Now, I think Hero right here is another one of those great cards to build on in the format as far as limited goes, but I don't think it's going to find a home in standard, but I kind of like it, and it looks really nice in foil, so you should check that out when you have an opportunity to. I know that the camera doesn't show it off very well. Then we got some more commons here, you know, kind of don't want to waste your time, just vanilla too far, that 5/2. Then we got this guy again the black-red decks, and then this guy, and then again the black-red decks. So yeah, I like that card a lot. And you know, I'm really curious to see like how good this card is in limited, because these cards are usually flops or knots, but with all these like random, just powerful 1 or 2 guys on your opponent's side of the field, I think cards like this are going to be really important to just swing in for game. Put your opponent on this nice timer. Combat Tricks, Griffin. Again, I'm a lover of the Griffin. Like, anything that gets you value, like back in Scars block. Okay, this is one of the most aggressive cards to draft. Basically, 2/1 flyer that cannot attack or block alone. It might be just a bit too aggressive in draft. Definitely in sealed, but maybe, just maybe, and it's too fragile for standard. Then we got walking posts here, do some more damage. Now this is one of the better cards for sealed draft as well, as you can just hit off your heroic triggers after you've attacked, and you can tap down their attackers. And either way, actually, just blocking or offense, just does a lot of combat math to it. And then this is one of the worst counter spells, although saw a pretty cool wizard deck that proxied this out. I just don't feel like this is what we need in the format, or any format really. Just a little too slow. People either violin that into play, does nothing on the field. It's going to be a 2-1. Can attacker, just really cheap removal here, or not necessarily cheap, but it gets there. And it's kind of middle road, but again, you want to be killing all the things you can in this format. Like draft and sealed are going to be crazy. And again, here's another great bestow guy. And then this guy's really fun to use. Just gets one Inspire in there, and he's attacking the rest of the game for free. Inspire, Lion. Beautiful heart again. Trigger, Inspire. Make sure you can't be blocked or attacked in the air. This guy. Okay, this is one of my favorite cards in the format as well, as this allows you to there's a lot of old abilities that have this ability that it gives you, and just to deal 1 damage is really fun, and there's a lot of things that can just take advantage of this type of card, and I hope that we might see them in standard, but I hope this card's not too slow. It's pretty cheap though, so I hope that adds to it. And then this is one of my favorite cards from Seal last week when I pre-release, and it got me there for game a lot of times just for attacking my flyer for 7 damage in the air. And that usually gets there too for you. But this card is really phenomenal, and I hope it finds a home in standard. Maybe in those white weenie decks that we want to see if Drowning Sorrows doesn't beat them all out. This might as well be a vanilla 4-2. And then we got this card back, which Revoke Existence is one of my favorite cards from Scars. Again, it's a sideboard staple for anything playing white. And it was hardly ever outcompeted by any other removal spell as far as the artifacts go. But this kits in the enchantments too, which is really important in this format rather than others. And I think this is going to find a lot of homes, especially since it can kill gods. When we talked about cards like our first blue uncommon here, like this, might be cheaper, but it's much worse. Don't activate Inspire like this, please. Because I don't think that mill is a really great strategy in the format, unless you're playing the god, this guy, Sphinx. But hey. And then we got this guy, just trigger all the things. Again, a lot of these tap abilities that are real cheap. And this guy, I heard that this guy kind of looks like Brainstorm, the girl in this picture, but you have the red instead, and that's kind of a cool reference. And then, again, all the heroics. Now this card's pretty good in the cycle that this follows. The red one's really amazing, and we'll talk about it later. But this one just making 3 mana for 2/2s every turn, if it gets in. This can build up really fast, and even if it only hits in once, you've got a really great ground pounder that makes flyers. So there you go. And then Black Devotion again, and then this is one of the best, again, 1-drops in the format as far as sealed and draft again, and you can really just start building that big bear again. But for standard, I don't think it's going to get there. It's just a bit too slow as far as needing to be there. And then again, the red version of the Enchantment Maker uses this token, and a hasty 3/1 is pretty good on turn 3 if it can just keep getting there every turn. So I really like the card. Whoops. Merfolk, Intimidate, Evoke Existence, Trojan Man, and then we got Lion here. So Lion is going to be really good, especially the mythic version of this card, which also has Vigilance, the king, and but this 2 for 2, it's got 2 towards Devotion, and Heroic, you make some cats, so it's pretty good. And then this guy, giving 2 guys +4/+4 in this format for draft and sealed. This is one of the best green cards in the format. There we go. And you're going to really enjoy this card. Speaking of best, Minotaur decks are really starting to take shape. And this is one of the things that might make it more profitable in the limited and sealed formats, but I wouldn't take it anywhere out of there. And I think that the Minotaur deck sort of belongs there, and in a couple commander situations too. But again, uh, here's another Minotaur. Like, it's just a bit too slow for standard, unfortunately. This guy is too. And the inspired on this guy, making tokens of himself is pretty fun, but I don't think he has any design room as far as getting into standard. Now we're moving on to our third. Yeesh. So, anyway, here we go. Centaur, this guy. And if you're confused about this, I'm probably going to cut this up into pieces. And so this is going to just run through the commons and most of the uncommons. This guy, though, he's new to our set. And basically what's going to happen with him is whenever you cast a spell, he's got that heroic trigger, And I actually haven't read this guy. Okay, you get to take control of a creature, and it gains haste and untaps. So that's pretty good for just like that little active treason on a stick, and turns any of your attached equipment spells or anything like that, your enchantments and auras, all that, the combat tricks, into acts of treasons, which is awesome. And then this is the red guy I was talking about earlier, where he makes and spits out for 3 mana, 3/1s, and he's a hasty 2/1, and you just lay him down on turn 3, swing, untap, pay. He's got haste. You attack for 5, and this can really build up fast. So he's one of the best cards out of uncommons for standard. Speaking of the cycle, this guy's makes some 1/1s for 3. It's not that real profitable, but he can, if he gets in there early and your opponent's running slow, which unfortunately is not the case in this format for the most part. Even though the format kills slow, it gets out there fast, and it's all about board presence. So it's a bit slow, and then this is one of the deck promos, and it's got a really cool ability for what it does. Basically just pinging people to death, and can make sure they can't block. So this is the end of your curve in red, and I hope it stays there.